Hello everybody and welcome to another amazing video of DIY investing. As you guys know, the market is more bullish than we have seen in months. We have wondered if we were going to break 25K, and we have now got confirmation that Bitcoin has made its first higher high of the new bull trend, and now everything is looking like a go, ready for Bitcoin to break $40,000 and $50,000. I am very bullish over the next couple months of Bitcoin. I firmly believe that we are about to see some of the bigger breakouts of this new bull cycle that we have seen, and now is coming the max opportunity for all of us long-term holders to make the most profit over the next couple months. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and with that being said, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Alrighty guys, now here we are to start off today's video, and as you guys can see, what a tremendous breakout that we have had inside of the chart of Bitcoin. Now guys, everything that we needed to see for the bullish case for Bitcoin has 100% played out in the exact way that we needed it to. You guys know that we had been watching this 25K level for quite some time. Really, we were just waiting to determine whether this was going to act as support, whether it was going to act as resistance, and this was going to be our line, and then this was actually going to be our line in the sand that was going to dictate the direction that Bitcoin was going to be headed. Now, what I always told you guys about was that if this level acts as support, and we get a reversal, we are going to expect to see a very quick and sudden blow off top. And I still firmly believe that. And I told you guys that if we were to hold support at this 25K level, most likely we're making a run immediately back up to these range highs. And as you guys can see, instantly after holding support at 25K, we teleported straight back to those range highs. In fact, we even broke out of the highs and made a new high at about $31,500. So as it stands right now, the market for Bitcoin is looking more bullish than ever. It's looking, like everything that we have been talking about is going to ultimately play out as far as the bullish favor. So everything we wanted to see, if you're a long-term believer in Bitcoin, if you're a believer that the bear market is over, we needed to see Bitcoin reversal. We needed to see Bitcoin actually hold that 25K level as support. And as you guys can see, we have done both of those. Now in the short term, because we have made such a quick run back up to those range highs, don't be caught off guard if we do see a little bit of a pullback, at least back down to the mid-range point. It's not going to be anything crazy if we do pull back, but just understand that there's no real reason to be taking heavy long positions right after we bounced off support and rallied straight back into resistance up here. You're better off waiting for a correction. Now, if we don't get the correction and if we just keep breaking out, who cares? You're going to have other opportunities to get back in the market. The only real reason that you should be worrying about buying here is if you were unwilling to buy throughout this entire correction or really throughout the entire run up. Now that we've made this big run back up to the range highs, you're better off waiting for the market to dictate the direction it wants to have. So in my opinion, don't be surprised if we make a pullback back down to the mid-range point, and I wouldn't be surprised if we run all the way back down to the low end of, maybe a little bit over $28,000. If we do see something like that, I would definitely be looking at that as a buying opportunity, and really long positions would be an amazing opportunity to be going at and be looking for a position in, because really guys, if we retest this mid-range point, and then we get our next leg up, we're looking at a very sudden type of blow off top. And I've been very adamant about telling you guys this because I could not be more serious when I say that us flipping this 25K level is a very, very, very important level. It's our first true higher high of the new cycle. Yes, technically, these two moves right here were higher highs and higher lows, but it wasn't until this move all the way up to 31,500 and then the pullback back down to 25,000 that truly cemented whether in fact it was a higher high, right? Because in every single bull market, you have to have the downtrend, and then eventually, when the new bull market starts, wherever the prior support was, in this case the new resistance, right? Because notice, this is support, then we break down and it becomes resistance. Inside of the new bull trend, you're going to have these periods where it starts uptrending, but until you officially break out of that prior resistance, but until we finally break out of that prior resistance as new support, we can't really confirm that the bull market is upon us, right? And so for us to finally fit this 25K level, that was the most important thing that we could have done. If we are long-term bulls for Bitcoin, if we believe that the market is bullish and we're going to see higher highs and higher lows, 25K had to have held. And if it didn't, I was expecting that we would have saw a pretty decent correction all the way back down to maybe 18 and 19,000. But obviously we've held it a support, and so that basically just eradicates all potential of this bearish thesis. And so as it stands, because we made this big run to the range highs, if we see this pull back to the mid-range point, don't get caught off guard, because regardless, the next legs coming are going to be the one where we start to see the rally upwards of 40,000, upwards of $50,000 per Bitcoin. And so now comes the real time where we really want to have our positions in place right now, holding, ready to just, ultimately capture the majority of the trend. Because if we've been accumulating throughout here, even if you're accumulating up here, regardless, I think that the big thing is if we were accumulating throughout this bear market, now comes the point where we really want to be focusing in on holding these gains. Because if we see a big blow off top, and if we see a markup period that takes us all the way back up to 48 and even $40,000, this is going to be a time where we see a lot of altcoins run in really big ways. I mean, we've already seen a lot of these altcoins take off over the last couple months. We saw Pepe blow up to multi-billions of market cap, and that really happened in the matter of a couple weeks. So this time more than ever before, I think that the altcoin gains are going to be just truly exceptional because we have so much money floating around the market. There is a huge opportunity for any random crypto to just blow up. And if you're smart and if you're aware and if you're early to these trends, you can actually capitalize on a lot of this. And I believe that in this next final move that's going to be happening, this is really the point where all the gains that we're going to make in the course of this run up is most likely going to be happening in, maybe a month or two period. It shouldn't be very long. The real blow off top should only take a short period of time. And what I've constantly referenced us to is over here talking about, the 2019 blow off top. Because if you guys remember, when Bitcoin ran up to 9,000 and then flipped this level here, remember guys, this level right there was our most important level of the bear market, right? And I've talked a lot about this level behaving very similar to what we're seeing at 25K. We spent 8 months inside of this descending resistance on this, we spent 8 months inside of this descending triangle, and this was the support level that we found. In the bull market, once we actually got a flip and a retest of that level as support, being these two moves here, that was what led us into that final blow off top of that 2019 impulse. Now, that final impulse was nearly a 100% move. And the total amount of time that it took from the bottom of our correction to the top was only 22 days, right? And so that's what I'm talking to you guys about when I say that we should expect to see a quick and sudden type of blow off top. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen in 22 days, but, guys, a month to 2 months isn't very long. And with what we've already seen with this most recent breakout, in my opinion, that's kind of telling us the early signs of that's what's to be expected. Even if we see a pullback to the mid-range point, I believe that this next impulse is going to happen pretty quick. Because if you guys look at every one of our impulses up to this point. It's taken a decent amount of time from the high of the move to the point of us breaking the new high. This one only took about a month. But if you guys notice, look how quick the impulses are every single time. This impulse was very quick. Go through this corrective period. This impulse was very quick. We go through this consolidation. This one was really quick. But regardless, this whole move was kind of just one impulse, right? And so what we've noticed is every single one of these moves to the upside has happened very quickly. And I don't think that's going to change. In fact, with us now getting above 25K, I think that the impulses are only going to get quicker from here. And we should expect to see that in the same way that we kind of saw this blow off top happen in 2019 when we flipped this, 6 to 8K level, and that led us to this quick impulse. I do believe that that's exactly what we're getting ready for with the reclaim of 25K. 40 and 50K is going to be a huge opportunity for those that are ready. And with what we're seeing inside of the rest of the markets, we don't have real confirmation. We do in the total market cap because the total market cap is broken out with Bitcoin, right? We had this descending resistance, lower lows, lower highs. In my opinion, what we've already finished inside of this correction was an ABC. I think that we finished our ABC correction. We came back down. We retested the 0.5 fib, which is close enough. What we were talking about was the 618 right here. But, we got in between the 618 and the 0.5. Generally speaking, that's an area of demand you're going to see. I'd say anywhere from the 0.5 to the 786 in this entire range. Generally, that's where you're going to see the market bottom inside of bull markets. Obviously speaking, we held better support, which in my opinion tells us that the market is more bullish than we were even anticipating. Anytime you get a correction that only stops at the 0.5 and then we start reversing, it just shows that there's more buy support in the market. And really the entire reason we saw this breakout had everything to do with the BlackRock and Fidelity ETF. There's all this talk about the ETF. They don't know exactly which one's going to get the okay from the government, but it's talk about BlackRock, which is the biggest institutional investment bank inside of the entire world. So most likely that will be the one that gets passed. But with the BlackRock ETF, the ETF is really, the big thing that we've been waiting for Americans to determine, real adoption for Bitcoin. Once the ETF gets approved for Bitcoin, that's really the point where Bitcoin really goes mainstream, in my opinion. And now that there's all this talk about the BlackRock ETF, I do believe that we're nearing that point where it's going to happen. This is the cycle of adoption. This is the retail cycle. This is going to be the real blow-off top cycle. And I'm not just talking about a blow-off top that takes us to 40K. I'm talking about an entire big picture market cycle that behaves similarly to what we saw in 2017, right? Now, in the short term, because of this volatility, don't be surprised if we see this pullback, we retest the breakout point, and then we start going back up again. If that's the case, then we're going to be expecting a quick blow off top into this next impulse. But I mean, regardless, the total market cap has broken out with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's also broken out of descending resistance. However, when we get over here and look at the altcoins are still trending below. So we don't have any confirmation yet with the alts, but I will say that the alts still look good nonetheless. Ethereum is really the thing that I'm looking at when it comes to factoring in what the heck the altcoin markets are doing. And with ETH, ETH still looks relatively good. There's a few different altcoins that don't look as good, mainly because of all of the FUD that we'd recently had with the SEC lawsuit. So I think that that's the real reason why altcoins are still below resistance. If this, pulls back a little bit, don't be surprised because we can still just end up making a higher high and then this breaking out, but we're going to have to wait for confirmation with Bitcoin. If this pulls back to the mid-range point, if Bitcoin pulls back, this is going to get rejected and make another lower low here against its descending resistance for the altcoin total market cap. But however, if Bitcoin holds support somewhere in this mid-range point around $28,000, $29,000, then this is ultimately going to hold support and break out as well. I don't think anything changes. Both of these market structures look exactly the same. They all have the same wave count, which just shows a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, followed by a completed ABC correction, right? So I'm still betting on that same thesis. The only difference is altcoins are probably going to end up continuing to hug this descending resistance for a little bit longer, potentially a retest of the low end range at about 500 billion in market cap, but I don't think it changes anything. Big picture, I think that these are going to continue to break out with Bitcoin as we run up to this next major high. Now, the final chart we want to talk about today is actually the Bitcoin dominance. You guys know, been watching this one quite a bit, analyzing whether this was going to break out. We did break out from the range highs, and we're getting close to my first target. Now, you guys already know what I was anticipating was a move to 53% dominance, and for me, I'm really targeting anywhere from 53 all the way up to 58. Kind of a big range, but I do believe that that's where we're going to be headed for Bitcoin dominance before this is over. What I've always talked to you guys about was how Bitcoin was going to make this final move outside of the range highs. We are now doing that. I believe that we were going to get to 53 or high end of 58%. And then that was really where we were going to start that inevitable downtrend as we go lower and ultimately make a new all-time low heading into this cycle. 2024, 2025 is when we would expect the altcoins to take off. I'm still leaning towards the same thing. Nothing has changed other than the fact that my analysis is getting close to actually having my target filled. So we're going to continue to stick to the same thing. No sense in changing anything. You guys know my first target was 53%. Very close to that target. So it's going to be interesting to see whether we're going to hold there. I see a couple scenarios here. Scenario A is that this was a 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're getting ready for our final wave 5 target that's going to be taking us somewhere around 53% before, ultimately completing that impulse and starting the next correction lower. Or I see this as scenario B, where this is 1, 2, wave 3 and 4 will happen right here around this 53% target. Wave 4 might end up coming back down to recorrect, might end up coming back down to retest the breakout point of support, basically just being these prior range highs. And then from there, we might see one final impulse that takes us upwards of 58%. I think that regardless, these are the two scenarios that I see fit for Bitcoin. We're either going to be getting a top at 58% or 53%. Regardless, I see all of these going into a new all-time low and then ending up with a big alt season for altcoins. Maybe 2024, maybe 2025, sometime in the cycle. And so I did want to give you guys this update as a way to summarize some of my thoughts. overall, great things inside of the markets, very bullish. Everything we needed to see as bulls is playing out. So I'm going to continue to give you guys these updates. We're going to be talking a lot about more altcoins. We're going to be doing some deep dives into specifics, analyzing chain metrics, analyzing some of the fundamentals of different altcoins. Why are they valuable? Going into specifics. I do a lot of investing and trading and TA stuff. I want to get more into the educational content because I really think that that's going to help you guys out the most. Understanding why we're buying certain things, understanding what are good investments, what are bad investments, and really understanding some of the technology behind these cryptos, in my opinion, is super powering, and it's going to help you guys a lot in your own profitability. So if you guys are interested in learning more about this stuff, I'm going to be making further updates, but make sure you guys drop a comment. If you guys have any specifics you guys want covered, specific deep dives in different blockchains, altcoins, whatever it is. I want to really go into this type of stuff hard. So if you guys do have any suggestions, recommendations, or thoughts and comments, feel free to leave them below. For anybody that wants to follow the trades that I take, anything that I'm doing with my money, you guys can actually follow my private Discord server. Links are in the description to go ahead and sign up on my website. It's a one-time fee, lifetime access. So as long as I'm trading and investing in crypto, stocks, commodities, anything that I'm doing with my money, you guys are going to be able to follow it in my Discord server. So if you guys want to get access, links are in the description to go ahead and sign up on my website. Thank you all so much for the support. And with that being said, I will catch you all in the next one. As always, peace out.